Recorded live at Dead in Studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. You're watching Dead in Hip Hop. This is a review of Danny Brown's new album, You Know What I'm Saying. If you support what we're doing, go ahead and like the video. And then join our Patreon, patreon.com/DeadInHipHop. You're watching the #1 hip hop channel on YouTube today in this review. Anyway, Danny Brown's You Know What I'm Saying. Did you guys like this on first listen?
No.
I didn't either. I
think I like more energetic Danny Brown. I think, which is why I love this last album so much. This entire album was like really laid back. Like as far as the slow pace, the production was a little bit more chill than his previous work. So yeah, first listen, I was like, man, I don't know if I like this real chill. This chill Danny Brown, man. I want that high pitch, that crazy sporadic Danny Brown.
He gave us that though.
He did a little bit, not as Not as much as his previous albums, though.
Wait, so y'all said on first listen, so y'all still not really fucking?
No.
I liked it first listen.
You did?
Yeah, I did like it first listen.
I didn't.
Because I liked the chill, but I typically like chill music. You know what I mean? And I
do too, but not from Danny Brown initially. I was taking low mid. I was dropping them off, and I was listening to it in the car. And it was funny, they asked me, like, how many times did it take before you actually know if you like an album? I was like, about 2 or 3. And damn sure it took about that many listens to finally come around and be like, all right, I get it. I understand what he's doing now. And I think it's just songs that he put together. I don't think it's anything like super complex or fancy or anything like that. I think he just kind of wanted to do something to rap.
But it was definitely focused, though. This was definitely, I guess, of course, it's him just getting older, maturing and everything, but he definitely sounded very focused on his album. I'm like, damn, for him to be away for, it's been 3 years since he released his last album. I'm like, Danny Brown sounds focused and he sounds comfortable. Like, he sounds really comfortable, like, rapping.
It sounds sober, maybe?
Well, no, because he was, he
didn't rap about a lot of drugs.
He didn't rap about sober shit on here. I
understand he didn't rap about sober shit, but when you said he sound focused,
yeah.
Do you think that I don't know what's going on because I know he changed his look and all that stuff and all that. So I'm just wondering, like, I wonder if it is he like in a more sober state now? Maybe possible.
Grown up.
Danny Brown. He hadn't changed shit. Danny Brown is still.
I'm legit asking. Has he said anything?
Right, because he's not rapping a lot about drugs on this album.
Yeah.
He's not
slanging.
But it's not a lot of
but it's not.
He hasn't slang drugs in years.
Right.
I don't think he's not rapping about being fucked up and all the other shit he was rapping about on Atrocity Exhibition. I feel like Rod has a point where it's like this album, it sounds like he is a lot more mature. If you want to say sober, then maybe that's what it is. Okay. That he's just not on that wild and crazy shit. It could also be that maybe Q-Tip reeled him in a little bit and was like, yo, we want to make a more focused and straight to the point album.
That's what I got from this.
But I think content-wise, like Danny Brown could still sound like this, but still be rapping about doing drugs and puking on the ground.
But
he's not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I think Danny Brown he's over that shit. I think Atrocity Exhibition was him getting that shit out of his system and talking about what was going on during his life at that point. And now with this, he's just like, I'm over that hump. I'm past that. I'm still this wild and crazy dude. I'm
still me. Yeah.
But I'm not in that problem zone I was in before.
Some evidence on here like Best Life. Yeah. The song. You don't like that song? But yeah, as an example of him just taking a different approach or a slightly different approach to this music, presenting something different, putting something different out into the atmosphere. When you were making those comments about like the content of this album, like that was one of the tracks that popped in mind when I looked at when I was looking at the track list. But nah, man, it really came around. Like Combat, that's my motherfucking shit, boy.
That shit hard. That shit hard.
Q-Tip came in that shit.
Q-Tip and Consequence,
man, Consequence was that?
That was Consequence on that. Yeah, on the hook.
On the hook.
On the hook, not rapping.
Not
rapping on the hook. That was Q-Tip and Consequence on the hook.
That shit, man. That
was good.
Jams.
You gotta die for this shit like Elvis. That was the funniest shit. I cracked up because I'm like, I died for this shit like Elvis. Didn't make any sense at first. Then you think about Elvis died taking a shit.
Yep.
That's a mean ass line, man. Danny Brown
Yeah.
is a fool.
Yeah.
What y'all think about the Run the Jewels joint produced by Jpeg?
That one leaked. Not leaked. I guess he released it early.
Yeah.
I
But
think he did it on his Twitch stream or something like that.
no, it was
On whose Twitch stream?
On his own. He was like, it was some months ago where he was like playing tracks off this upcoming album. He was going live on Twitch, and he was kind of like.
So he's into gaming?
He was like previewing.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
He's
was
into
like-
gaming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was previewing tracks on live on Twitch.
Are you sure he previewed this one? Because when the
I
track
think
list
it-
came out, everyone was like, "Yo, I can't wait to hear
Yeah, I
that."
think it was either that or Belly of the Beast.
I don't think.
Probably-
It must have been that one. I don't
Yeah.
think it was the Run the Jewels one.
Okay.
Because I remember,
I remember he was
literally
previewing some tracks.
when that track list went out, it was like every fucking response was like, "Yo, Run the Jewels produced by Peggy. I gotta hear this." Nobody said, "Oh, I already heard it." At first, I was a little bit disappointed, only because when I saw that JPEG produced it, I was expecting something crazy and whacked out and nuts and all over the place.
Yeah.
But instead, he produced this really dope, chill beat. And that's not what I was expecting. So on first listen, I was like, damn, they're all spitting. But I kind of wanted the beat to be a little bit something different. But that was only
It
first
fit-
listen.
I think it fit.
Second
the album
listen,
so
it
well.
fit perfectly.
Yeah, it fit the album so
perfectly.
well.
Of course, L said some shit about I eat up your crew like, no, I'm sorry, he said True Doom, eat up your crew like food.
Oh yeah.
I was like, damn, that's dope.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it was a great track. I kind of wish that JPEG had a verse because he featured on
Negro Spiritual.
Negro Spiritual, which is one of my favorite tracks
he
on
only did the
there.
hook on that.
He only did the hook, and the first like 3 listens, I didn't know it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was Pharrell.
Yeah.
I literally thought it was Pharrell.
And that drum is by Flying Lotus and Thundercat.
And Thundercat.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that JPEG didn't spit a verse on there. I was like, damn, I thought he
And
was
I
gonna
thought
kind
he
of.
was.
I thought he was too.
When I found out he produced 3 Tiers, and
Yeah.
then of course they had the features. I was like, okay, he produced that one. I said he
gonna rap.
definitely
Yeah,
He
gonna
gonna
rap,
rap
on
on
that.
that one, yeah.
I was
I was
waiting.
like,
I
oh
was
man.
like,
Because Danny Brown said he's a big fan of Jpegmafia.
Yeah.
Because JPEG went up to Detroit and kicked him with it for a week.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's how they kind of got.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
they were
see
trying
that.
to see what they were gonna come up with. So I think that's how we got to where we are here. But 3 Tiers was the first track that I was like, okay, now we're going somewhere. And then it came but then it kind of took another like Belly of the Beast. That hook. I don't know who this dude was.
Oh, I can't pronounce his name.
I can't either.
You know-
He was much better on
I don't
number
know who the
8.
fuck he is, but I liked him.
I didn't care for him.
Did you like the hook on number 5 though? Belly of the Beast?
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
was cool.
I did not like
He
the
was
first
fine-
time I heard
he was fine
that.
on the title track.
I don't like the title track, and I don't like Best Life.
I'm talking about
I ain't like
him
either
singing
one.
the hook.
I didn't like
I know you don't like the
Yeah.
song, but I liked him better on the hook. It sounded like he was struggling on Belly of the Beast.
I thought he was doing it on purpose, though. It
Well,
wasn't like he was
and-
trying
and-
to sing.
Probably after you hear, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can hear that. Maybe that's just the way he wanted to approach it. But initially, I was like, what is this? I'm not rocking with this.
Oh, you a hater.
No, I eventually came around, but that was some
You
hating
don't sound
going
like
on.
it. It's like you still not coming around. You talking about you didn't like him on the hook.
I said I didn't initially.
I think the one track I remember I didn't really care for was Shine. The one before Combat. That
Oh,
was
I like
featuring-
that.
I like that
Blood
one.
Orange?
Yeah, I like
That
that
shit
one.
was dope.
You like Blood Orange?
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, he
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who it is, so
Well,
that was my first. Yeah, I was just like,
Yeah, I like Sean.
got nothing but Savage Nomad.
Shit, I wasn't done. We're just I'm arguing with y'all two, really.
It sounded like you was trying to wrap up.
He
Nah.
can wrap up. He can wrap up if you want to. Shit, there's a whole lot to talk about with this motherfucking
oh
album.
man.
Yeah, Savage Nomad was fucking stupid good.
I was
Man,
like,
what?
Player Hayes. I never heard that producer before.
Who?
Me either.
Player Hayes.
Oh yeah.
I never heard that producer.
I didn't even know he produced it.
I didn't really care for, you know what I'm saying, because it just seemed like he wasn't really rapping. It was just like he's just kind of just saying something and then, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, just say something else. You know what I'm saying? It's not whack, but it's definitely a track that I skip because the other songs on here are so much better. And the fact that that was the title track, I know there's probably something I'm not getting. I'm sure there's a reason and a message and a meaning behind it. I haven't gotten it yet. So right now, I just don't care for that song. Everything else was fucking dope. Theme song.
Mm-hmm.
This is a theme song for what do you say, for the young niggas or something, whatever. And the fact that he had that line about Eddie Long your song is like Eddie Long with a thong on. The fact that the song was kind of talking to like the younger dudes who kind of like maybe shit on the older dudes or whatever.
For songs for the bitch ass niggas.
Yeah, for the bitch ass niggas, right? But the fact that he has a fucking Eddie Long line in there, I don't think is a coincidence.
Right.
So I thought that was really kind of funny and kind of dope.
I thought the opening track was good too. I mean,
oh hell yeah!
No, I like
it started off with Paul White. You know him.
Yeah.
It seemed like over the last few albums he's made, him and Paul White has kind of got like a great chemistry together. So I was glad to see Paul White handle about 3 or 4 tracks on this album as well. But yeah, the opening track was like, I'm like, here we go. I'm like, yes, this is it.
Theme song, it took a minute because it kind of felt a little disjointed with the beat and no, but I just combined the beat and him rhyming over the beat or the way they kind of put. Yeah. When I first heard it,
yeah, because it has those whispers and has those weird strings. I can see that.
Those strings are loud too.
Yeah, they're real loud, but it's dope though.
It is dope.
It is dope.
It's definitely off-putting at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Danny Brown always finds a way to rhyme over shit.
Oh yeah.
It's like, God
sure.
damn. I think that's why I like it so much. I'm like, damn, I fucking like this beat. Like, I like what Danny Brown was doing with
That
this
beat's
shit.
dope.
It is dope. It's super dope.
Yeah.
When I first heard it, because I was in the bathroom, I was taking a shower and I had it playing, and it was like, damn, those strings are loud on that song.
Yeah.
But then when I played it in the car, it wasn't as loud when I played it in the car.
And I like he added some, just like typical Danny Brown, is like some comedy to the album with Dirty Laundry. Like this damn story.
yeah.
Oh yeah, to break it.
Sometimes call it deja vu.
Yeah. Like all his damn sexual stories and shit. He has sex at weird places. I'm like, only Danny Brown will come up with some fucking Richard Pryor shit like this, man. Like
the shit about fucking the prostitute.
Yes,
for a change.
No,
for
Real change.
She used that change to do her laundry.
Right.
Like that song right there was like, okay, yes, that's classic, funny ass Danny Brown. I'm glad he added that. That was another one of my favorite joints I liked on here. Was like he added that comedic value on this album that I love. But yeah.
But you know what? You say classic Danny Brown. That's originally what didn't click with me with this album. Was it didn't sound like that classic Danny Brown, because you know usually when you listen to Danny Brown, he has those really kind of juvenile but funny lines. He didn't have a lot of those here. It was like he's still funny, but it was almost like his comedy is maturing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like dick and butt funny no more. It was like, I'm gonna still throw you a couple little dick jokes here, but it was almost like he was just being a little bit more serious.
It was a different tone to it, and I didn't know going into the project that Q-Tip EP'd it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that was like one of the big things. Like when he first announced the album,
that was the
executive produced by Q-Tip. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I missed all of that.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
I didn't really know much about it until like a week or so leading up to the release. I think when he started promoting stuff, I was like, oh, Danny Brown got some new shit. So I didn't know, but so coming into it, listening to, you know, of course, how he's rapping, the beats and everything else, coming off his old projects, and now you're talking about the tone and the change in style. You know, I'm wondering, like, that has to be like Q-Tip's like impact on it. Yeah. So, but it's like I'm thinking of like, what did Q-Tip hear, or why would he take this approach? I would love to see some interviews to kind of get some behind the scenes insight into that. To take a guy like him and to kind of really do something somewhat different with him in terms of his content and musical style. Because Danny has always been into like, you know, more of those eccentric beats, of course, obviously with some of the other stuff. So some of the beats on here didn't necessarily surprise me. But, you know, the way he rapped and the content did.
I think it's the other way around for me, because just because knowing what, like you just mentioned about all the changes Danny Brown been going through, got a TV show, and you know he changed his image up a little bit. So I was going in, I was kind of expecting for him to have like a little bit more mature content. Then the production was kind of like, oh, okay, damn, this is like so chill. This is
it wasn't
chill.
experimental or weird like his other shit.
Yeah, so that's the part that threw me off more so than
me too.
his content and you know him rapping and stuff. Like I was like, okay, he in a different space.
I just saw that he completely looks different now.
Oh.
So I haven't been keeping up. So
you haven't been keeping up.
I'm just now catching up to where Danny Brown is now.
That makes sense. Okay, I got you.
So it's with music and everything else.
So it
I
really
guess.
threw you off.
Yeah. So
And see, I kind of, when I saw him clean up, I was like, this is probably going to sound cleaner.
See, I didn't think that.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't think that. Because he's still goofy as fuck.
I know that,
I
but
didn't think the album was gonna be that much cleaner. I knew Q-Tip, if he was executive producing
Mm-hmm.
it, he was gonna reel him in. So I was not expecting like a triple X, and I definitely was not expecting an atrocity
yeah.
exhibition.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't expect it to be this clean,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool because it's kind of a shock because Danny Brown's never made an album this clean before.
Right.
But I wasn't expecting the production to be quite as, I don't think accessible is the word, but just easily digestible maybe.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. And it's like the lines that he says on here, again, they're not quite as easy in your face. Like Danny Brown, he had a line here where he said, I'm anemic with the ink, you're a Stevie Wonder blink. And the first couple times, I just didn't even pay attention to that shit. He's like, oh, he's just rhyming words. But when I thought about it afterwards, I was like, he's basically saying you ain't shit. Because what the fuck's a blind man gotta blink for?
Right.
I mean, I know it's really to water your eye.
Right.
But I mean,
Yeah.
if you're looking at it from kind of like an outside, whatever, like surface level type of thing, it's like, you're a Stevie Wonder blink.
he had another
Basically,
line
you're
too
fucking
like
useless.
that. Yeah, he had another line like that too. I can't remember what it was though.
But see, Danny Brown usually doesn't
Yeah.
get me like that. Usually Danny Brown's punchlines are very obvious and they're fucking hilarious. This time, I feel like a lot of his punchlines were a little bit like where you had to think about it for a minute, and they weren't so much funny. They were more so like, damn, that's actually cold. And this brought me back to like hybrid, maybe Danny Brown, where it was like I wasn't so much of a goofball. I'm really rhyming and talking to y'all motherfuckers about shit. So that's why I kind of like this album so much. And a lot of times when I first listen to an album and I don't care for it like that, once it clicks, I like it 10 times more. And that's one of the reasons that I like this album so much. When I first listened to it, I was just like, nah, Danny,
Yeah, a little disappointed.
this ain't
for a
it.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But first, like, 2 listens, I was like, this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. And I wanted to like it because I was like, man, it's Danny Brown. You're not
Right.
gonna give me a bad album.
Yep.
That can't happen. And once it got to the point where I was like, okay, this is not the goofy, I'm trying to make you laugh, Danny Brown.
Yeah.
This was like his version of what 2 Chainz did. I forget the name of that album though. The one that I really
Rapper go to the
liked.
league.
Say again?
Rapper go to the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this felt like to me. Like 2 Chainz was tired of making y'all motherfuckers giggle.
Yeah.
Danny Brown still wants to make you laugh, but at the same time, he's like, yo, I really want to talk to y'all about some shit a little bit. And that's what I took away from this is just a much more mature Danny Brown. So now I'm curious about what he's gonna do next. Because these last 2 albums are fucking night and day.
Yeah.
And was this Q-Tip or was this really just Danny Brown
Right.
saying, yo, this is what I want to do?
Right.
Or was this Q-Tip saying, yo, I think we need to chill out a little bit and this is what I think you should go in the
I don't
direction
know.
of.
That's
I'd
what I
love to know
wanna
which
know.
one's
Me
idea
too.
was.
Me too. That would be so dope.
I think what did it for me, because the first listen I was like, I don't know. Then the second one I was like, okay, we kind of get in there because Combat was like jamming. And then I was at work and I was just playing it. Funny enough, on my phone, I rarely listen to music like on my phone because you can't really,
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then I think I got to like Best Life, and then I put my speaker on, and then I had the repeat going, and it went from Combat, and it started over with Change Up, and it was like, oh, so the sequencing and the flow, it just started to kind of just roll together, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I don't know what was it about that did it for me, but I think just going back to the beginning and just coming from Combat, which is kind of high energy, you kind of, dancing or whatever, and then you start with Change Up, which kind of starts way back in the beginning. It's a little bit more subdued, and he just kind of walks in, and the voice is back to normal, and it just started rolling from there. And I was like, okay, I think we're here now. Favorite tracks. All right, so we got 11. So give me 3 Tiers, Negro Spiritual, Combat. Let me get Change Up, and Savage Nomad.
Dirty Laundry, 3 Tiers, Negro Spiritual, and Combat.
Let me get...
Best Life.
You know what I'm saying?
Nope. Let me get Theme Song, 3 Tiers, Savage Nomad, Negro Spiritual, and Combat. Oh yeah, because I left out that line about you trying to get like the next Negro you want beef end up like a vegetable. which was one of my favorite tracks or favorite lines on the whole fucking album.
Good album, man. And what I like about this, and what I like about you, is that each of your albums present something different, and you're continuing that trend, even with this one. And I like the fact that, you know, coming out, like, it didn't like hit me right away, and that it took some time and to kind of adjust to what you're doing now. And I didn't know anything about, you know, your recent transformation. So for me, it's getting it and hearing it in the music first, and then going backwards. But I love seeing that you're maturing musically and as a person within this industry, and that for me that definitely breeds longevity. So great project. Love you and Q-Tip working together. Would love to see you and Jpegmafia do something together. I really think that would be dope. But outside of that, man, just keep up the dope work, man, and keep giving us this dope product. So that's it.
Yes, Danny Brown, if you're watching, great job with the album. You know, like I said, at first the production threw me off, but you know, once I put it in my mind, like, okay, wait a minute, Q-Tip executive produced this, I kind of got where he was going, because I already knew the content was going to kind of be mature Danny Brown just by seeing how you just been transforming to this. And it's OG now, man. Been a fan of you for plus 10 years, man. It's crazy seeing your growth as an artist, man. It's great. But yeah, good job with this album, man. I love it. It's added to your discography, man. Like a great album to add to your discography. Good job,
Danny Brown. This is a great album. I actually like the fact that I did not care for it at first. I really do. That tells me that you're doing something different. That tells me that you're trying new things, you're treading new ground. But then again, you've done that for the last 4 albums. Mm-hmm. And I think that for the last 4 albums, I'm pretty sure I didn't like them on first listen. But they always click to me, and then they always stick with me. And man, you're not repeating yourself. And that's a great thing for an artist of your caliber that's in the game. And I like that you're maturing with your sound. Or I don't even know if you want to call it maturing. That might be a detriment. That might be an insult. I like that you're changing your sound and you're going for something a little bit different than what you normally do. But this is a dope ass product, man. And I am super duper interested in seeing what you do next. So keep up the good work with the music, with the show, with yourself, all that shit. I would like to ad libs back though. He stopped doing the style and the check.
He did those.
He did something.
Not as much.
Yeah, not as much. Yeah.
He did like 1 or 2. Yeah. I'm used to him dropping them shits like every song.
Don't leave that past. Don't leave that past.
Yeah, can't leave all that alone, Danny. We need a little bit of that.
Right, keep that
But
shit.
yeah, man, congrats, man. This is a dope project.